Welcome to the ripple effect of love for dads and families. Today, we are checking in. What's going on? Is resistance showing up? Is your self doubt showing up? I'm Christine Bernat, stress management, self management. Yes, I'm managing myself as stress management coach. And I'm on a mission to support you to be the best version of yourself. And in the ripple effect of love, my goal is to bring more love to your family, starting with you. And sometimes doubt has a way of appearing, right? Or not appearing, showing up. And it can be very challenging when doubt sets in. We don't trust ourselves. We have a hard time being very present. I was talking to someone this morning and telling a story of something that happened to me that was um, not okay. We'll just put it that way. And all of a sudden, the person said, "Just a minute, I missed part of your story." So, what happens is that we get triggered into, when somebody's telling their story, we are often triggered by our own traumas, our own hurts, and it ignites something in another moment in time. So it could be anger. How dare they do that to someone? It could be, I don't know, there's many different, it could be overwhelm, it could be, but it brings you back to that hurt. And how do you deal with that? How do you stay present so that you can be just the best version of yourself, right? It's not obvious and it's not always easy. So there are many signs of how that self doubt kicks in. We can have different reactions. We can decide to put it under the rug and say, "Oh no, I can't do that," or we can decide to leave it, put it on a shelf, and forget about it. Or we can decide to, I don't know. You tell me in the chat. Share with me what happens to you when self doubt comes in. You feel confused, obviously. You don't know if you should go left or right, up or down. And that's very understandable. That's what doubt does to us. And obviously, it's kind of the last thing that we want. So, taking a moment to reflect on your progress and release any lingering doubts. We created a mantra on Monday. Wednesday, we had Patrick Eilers here who talked about addictions and gave us some tips. I hope some of those were helpful for you. And as we focus on using Snap, Tap, and Zap to clear our mind and align with our self love and our self trust. It's very important to put ourselves first. And before I go into that, I just wanted to add, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow. Some of you are in couples and there's a challenging relationship. Some of you are single, and Valentine's Day can be very triggering for us. So let's just do what we know best. Use the ABCs of Snap Tap Zap to liberate what it is that is maybe bringing sadness to us or wanting us to give up on love. And something just popped in my mind. Sometimes it's what people tell us, right, that cause us this doubt. Think of this week. Did anyone say something to you that made you doubt yourself? So I've given you many different little things, and I'm going to pause because I can go on and on, as Christian has mentioned. So let's just breathe in, snap, tap on the sternum. Notice our tension, relax our body. Thank our body for showing us where that tension is, and let's just release that. Release the emotions that are coming up. Nice deep breath in. Notice the tension, relax the shoulders, and exhale that onto the spiraling train or the hot air balloon. It's very, very important to check in with yourself regularly to see how you're doing, what you're feeling. Yes, when you're at work, you don't have time to do that, and I understand. It might be when you open your eyes in the morning, or maybe you can check in while you're eating your meal, brushing your teeth, on your way to bed, taking a deep breath. Or you can check in too when you're sitting down, watching one of your favorite shows. I was going to say watching a sport, but if you're into the sport a lot, you may not be able to take time to check in. Maybe during the publicity ads, that would be a good time, turning the volume down and saying, okay, where am I at today? How am I feeling right now? What is going on, right? Those are all great ways of just tuning in and seeing how things are going. I know I'm trying to do two things and it's not going very well. Oh, I think I figured it out. Okay, thank you for your patience. It's really nice for you to be patient. I'm trying to see if I can see the chat in my Facebook group. Okay, now that that's said, deep breath in again, grounding myself, relaxing the shoulders, and exhaling all that self-doubt so that I can choose what is best for me. Now, if you're in a dilemma between A, B, C, D, left, right, up, or down, what I suggest, so that you are feeling only your own emotions, not everybody else's. I know some of you don't have that ability, but some of you do. And some of you have children who have that ability, and you may not. Whether you closed that off when you were little, or that you, I don't know, XYZ reason, we won't get into all those other reasons. And let's just take a nice deep breath in. We're going to put one hand on our upper belly, above the belly button, as we continue to tap. And we're going to ask, is A? So I want you to decide what A is, what B is, what C is, and what D is. Maybe you only have 2 options. Maybe you've got 4 options. It's okay. I want you to relax. Let's try that again. My thoughts are all over the place. So deep breath in. Ask your question. What is your A option? With your hand on your belly, above the belly button, relax the shoulders and exhale and listen attentively. What happens to the option? Do your shoulders kind of relax? Do they stay tense, or do they even go up? Right? This is your superpower to tune in to who you are. Maybe we want to do it again for option A, just to feel safe, more certain maybe. So let's just breathe in, relax the shoulders, and think of your idea and exhale. What happened to your body? My body relaxed. Okay, now option B. What's your option B? Notice that I'm always tapping because I'm trying to get my mind out of the way. Because when the mind is in the way, I am unable to be 100% present. So if we look at option B, we're looking at self doubt. Option A was one of the possibilities. Option B is another of the possibilities. So I breathe in and I ask myself for option B. I relax the shoulders and I exhale. What happens to my shoulders? My body, does it relax? Does it become tenser? So when it relaxes, the answer is yes. When it gets tenser, the answer is not quite, right? And then if you had two more options, you can tune in and see. So if I go to option C, maybe you don't have an option C, and that's okay. You can just keep snap, tap, and zap that out so that you can be just here, present right now. And maybe you just want to exhale that self doubt onto the spiraling train and let it bring it down to the magma to burn it. Yes, bringing it down to the magma is a possibility if you want to imagine it. Maybe you can Google an image, put it up on the screen to see it so that you can do it. Or maybe you just like to write it out because you need to do it in a tangible way, right? So, another deep breath in. If you're doing option C, ask yourself and exhale. And what happens to your body? Does it relax? Yay. Does it get tense? Might not be the best option for you. And if you had an option D, let's breathe in and relax and exhale. And what happens to your body? Always paying attention. Some of us, well, I wasn't. I don't know about you. I wasn't trained to notice and pay attention what happens to my body. And I'm very excited to say that here comes Christian. Hi, Christian. How are you? Whoops, you're popping off the screen.
Popping
You're
in
like,
and out. Yeah,
right
I've
there.
actually been here. Yeah, I've
Okay.
actually been here for some time.
Oh, well, thank you for, sorry, my apologies, but
No, 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 nothing to apologize
were
for.
you able to do this with us?
I didn't see the I didn't get the question, but I will say that we definitely got to check in with our bodies and self-regulate so that
Yeah.
we can find out what we need and so yesterday I was not in attendance, but I was sharing with another group, and we had a conversation, which is how do you start a day successfully? And it
Oh, what a
was
beautiful story. Yeah, that is beautiful. Keep going. How do you start your day
your day.
successfully? Love it.
Now the thing is, though, you don't start your day. Well, I started, and of course, excited to share
Yeah.
self-regulation and Snap Tap Zap,
Mm-hmm.
and then what comes with it. But more than that, we started understanding that it's being present so that
Yes.
you don't let the world and everything kind of just get away from you. Additionally, the real preparedness, I mean, that's really what it comes down to is being prepared. Do you feel prepared?
Mm-hmm.
And um, and so we realize that we prepare the night, but well, at least I do. or used to prepare the night before for some things that, and so I've kind of gotten away with some of those habits, but I still
Mhm.
take that morning breath and self-regulation, because again, it's vital. It's so important. It helps with everything that you're going to do.
Yes.
And if you're prepared, I think that is ultimately what we want, is we want to make sure that we are prepared for the day. So what is it that we need to do? And if it takes steps beforehand or the night before, whatever it is, and you had folks that get up at like 2 in the morning,
Mhm.
folks that get up at 4 in the morning.
Mhm.
Um, and so, these different things, but there's also preparedness the day before. And funny enough,
Mhm.
in conversation
Mhm.
with opposing sides,
Mhm.
because they start talking about statistics,
Yes.
and just so that we're clear, they,
Yes.
statistics can be shaped, or it depends on what you're looking for, but statistics don't always tell the truth.
Can
And so,
I just
yeah,
pause you there?
yeah.
So, my son studied in psychology. He's got a bachelor's in psychology. And he says, Mom, he says, we can manipulate data to say what we want it to do
Hmm. Hmm.
by how you ask the question, how you
Precisely.
send the information. And that is so. I'm going to let you continue because there's something
No,
very important that I want to say. I'm going
yeah,
to write it down. I will write it down so I remember it because I really think it's important. So
I,
continue
I
on.
I think it's hugely important to understand, and that when you start self-regulating, when you stop seeking validation from exterior sources, when you understand that the analytics are being shown to you, um, and these numbers are right in front of you, well, we can still, okay, doesn't mean the numbers are what are, what's in control. The numbers are the numbers. How do we respond to data? How do we respond to data in front, data that is questionable, data that we have doubts? And it goes back to, you can start, no, 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 that's not true. I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah.
Or with self-regulation, you can understand. And as I said, that may be the truth to in around the folks and what your experience has been. But
Mhm.
if we're looking to be more effective, better, and better communicators, then we can't just base it on data in one place, because the person in front of you is literally screaming out for help and
Mhm.
is wanting to communicate something, a perspective, whatever situation, and they just want to be heard. They want to be understood. You may not agree with it, and you don't have to, but it's just about being heard. It's about understanding. And so I didn't, there was no back and forth. Points were made.
Yes.
Information was communicated.
Yes. Beautiful.
And
And
so the opposing, and so I had a brief convo and just said, "Hey, I had an opposing sides, an argument without any any back and forth, without any tit for tat." And so I think it's important, whether it doesn't matter what we're doing, and I think this is just kind of chiming into the exercise that you guys are doing here with Christine. It's important that, and then again, congratulations if you found it, have paused, have stopped. Yeah, you're going. What is this? What is this breathing? What is this tapping? What it is? Congratulations. It's a big step, and sometimes we may not be ready. So if you don't sign up or follow or like or share or anything like that, just know that you can, at any point in life, you can start learning self-regulation techniques that will improve whatever whatever industry you're in, whatever job title you have,
yes.
whatever it is that that you're doing, or or aiming to do, if you're more present, if you're better at communicating,
Yeah.
that's uh, that's going to be gold. We have numerous individuals with high intellect,
Yes.
and could do many wondrous things.
Yes.
I've worked with some talent in across the world, Ireland, Middle East, Asia. I've worked with teams before in Vietnam and Philippines, Central, and even Mexico. You have phenomenal, intelligent people,
Yes.
but the
Everywhere.
ability, to communicate,
Mm.
that just different, because some of the folks that I've met and are highly intellectual, they can't hold a conversation.
Mhm.
They
And
can't
and
express themselves.
yes, and what happens is the brain is like it's the hamster wheel. It is so fast. Their brain is on high speed, and the ability to pause, to be grounded in the moment, is very, very challenging. And I know I was there at some point, and I still
I
know
was
many
there.
people where it's not. I'm going to say it's not our fault. We were not taught how to train our brain to calm down, to pause, and to just be present. And when we can do that, so I want to
I have to ask.
beautiful. Yes, go for it.
I have to ask. I don't like fault, and you said it's
Mm,
my fault.
yeah, it's not
So
your fault.
yeah, I wanted to correct that, because
Go for it.
and that may be Christine. No, no, no. I'm asking you as the expert, because again,
Yeah,
you are the expert. But in that adjustment. But I think that uh, it's not my fault. Let's take away. And again, this is what I'm working with. So this is real life, folks. Like real time. I
yeah,
don't like to place blame. So okay, well, it was my mom's fault. Well, it was my dad's. Okay, great, congratulations. What does
yeah,
that help you today? So I, I've, I'm understanding.
yeah,
There's a certain level,
yes,
and there has to be there has to be a certain point where
yes.
you, as an individual, take back that control and say, okay, I know I was taught. Yeah,
I'm going to pause. This is
yeah.
when you put your superpower cape on, or you tune into your superpower and you say, because you're taking your power back
Mm-hmm.
instead of laying
Mm-hmm.
on
Mm-hmm.
dad,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
church, or whatever it is. I hear many people, the community you're raised in, the culture you were raised in. It's easy to blame all everything around us. I still do it sometimes, unfortunately. And it's okay, because when I pause and really take the time to start listening to my inner wisdom, which we talked about many episodes ago, and it comes up all the time. And I'll link it to data is data to convince you in many cases, especially in marketing. They want to convince you that their point of view is the most important. Are you the same as everyone?
That's it.
No, we are all different. We are all unique. That uniqueness is our superpower. If we follow or decide, choose, as we've said, if we choose to buy into the data that's there, because and this is important, we need to check in, is it because there's some pieces of information that are missing, that are triggering me into fear mode, into uncertainty mode, into overwhelm mode, into anger mode? Those are all different types. Doubting myself mode, we're talking about the doubt, the self-doubt. So when we listen to something on the news, one day, I'm going to just share this story. I was out, it was a wedding, and this younger gentleman says to me, "You know, Christine," and he had drank a little too much. And I can tell the story because it's many years ago. And he says, and he was in the army. in the Canadian Army. And he says, you know, CNN News. I hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I'm going to say it. This is hearsay. Okay, let's just put it that way. He says, you know, Christine, for this thing that happened, we manipulated the camera people and the news people so that we could pull these guys out of their hiding place and we could attack them. And I'm thinking, and he says, are you surprised? I'm like, no, I'm not surprised. How can you not be surprised? He was trying to impress me. It didn't impress me because I have this knowing inside of me that this has been going on for so long. There's so many things. It's hard to believe everything we hear, whether it be on the news or on the internet. And that's why tuning into our inner wisdom is the most important thing. We hear things from different perspectives, but ultimately, what's right for us is what is coming from within us. And to be able to shut down that hamster wheel and say, just a minute, I hear you. Okay, because we need to acknowledge that part of ourselves. I hear you, but I'm wondering what's happening in my body when I think of this, when I think of that. What feels better with me so that um, I choose the perspective that aligns best with who I am, not with who everybody else is.
And I'm gonna jump in and say
Go
we
for it.
talked about this. We talked about different perspectives. If
Yes,
one person is in the middle, two
yes,
people on our each side, they're
yes,
both seeing the exact same happening, but
mm,
their truths, each person's truth,
yes,
based on their perspective and the angle or where their position may be, and they're going to be opposing and say, well,
mhm,
did he, person raise their hand? Okay, well, I didn't see him raise their hand. Well, maybe
mhm,
because of the angle that you were, the other person at the angle that they were, I clearly saw it. And that alone isn't an argumentative or anything that can cause if we don't well, one thing that Christine just mentioned is convincing people of, I want to convince you, for you to feel the way that I want, that I feel,
mhm,
because there's power in numbers, and so the more people that you get to feel the way that you do, then it obviously validates. I'm no professional, so
mhm,
I'm just going to bring it back, well, in this sense, so I'm going to bring it back to in regards to alignment with the products that you choose or anything that you do in regards to, you mentioned it in marketing,
mhm.
is, am I buying the product based on, and again, this is why we do ethical and why we pose these questions,
Yes,
is
yes,
because we're not trying to jerk on your emotions. And I mean, we're not trying to, and that is marketing, by the way. And as Christine said, is if I can get you to react, then
yes,
that connection has emotional
mhm,
thought. And if
mhm,
you hit something or bring something, then you just made it even physical. Or if you react, or ball your fist or otherwise, you are
mhm,
making those connections even more. Well, you say, okay, well, it's connecting to something that I don't, but
mhm.
that I don't like. No,
Mhm.
but it's connecting to something that has caught your attention now.
Yes,
Now it is affecting you.
yes,
And with self-regulation, you can say, okay, is this my thinking? Is
yes,
this, is this, does this align with what I want to accomplish?
yes,
Or is this, whatever it is. And again, these are questions that you'll be able to focus on and ask yourself. But going back to the biggest point that I just wanted to is having conversations with the folks, difficult conversations with folks. And that in itself, without having to argue, it's powerful, but focusing on the person rather than the argument or the opposing perspectives, that's
yes,
truly And so how do we better ourselves as a world? It takes one person at a time. It takes one thought. It takes one conversation, because we also don't know who may be watching, who is seeing,
Mhm.
um, how it affects or how it will impact whatever the situation is. So,
Yes.
with that
Yeah.
being said, thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and part off, let you finish off what you're doing, and have a
Yes.
great rest of your day.
Thank you, Christian. And as Christian said, does this align with me, with my values? And when we pause and take the time to ask ourselves that question, we we may not get the answer on the first day, and it's okay. We might need a whole week, we might need a whole month, I don't know. But stay focused on that before you click that button and say, yeah, that's what I want. Breathe in, relax the shoulders, and exhale. So you may be wondering why I had to self regulate the whole time. If you notice that, well, I'm going through some stuff right now. And to be able to be present in the conversation with you in this moment, this is what I need to do. I need to calm that hamster wheel who wants to think about this and think about that and be there and be and find solutions and blah, 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 right? I'm just going to breathe in, relax my shoulders, and exhale. So I hope you found value in today. If you want to connect with me, my QR code is there. And I wish you all the best on your journey, in your journey. Choose for you what matters to you. Put the doubt on the spiraling train so that you can be yourself and choose for yourself. So, have a great end of day, and I will see you tomorrow as we celebrate our success. Sending you lots of love. Take care.